So welcome to the Volicon booth. It is 2016. Today we're going to be talking about content creation and distribution using the Volicon platform. It seems like 2004 was not too long ago for us when we introduced the first video logger. And at that time it was analog, low resolution video, and people started buying them because they needed good air check quality. And we were about quality transmitted to the home. Well, things have changed a bit for us over the years in the sense that people record high resolution, TS, proxies, and people like this have started using Volicon to create content, digital content, web, social media. So this is a new year for us. So we're not only using compliant technology, but we use compliant technology to create new technology. And this is a big move for us, and we're happy to, in a sense, have new friends, but also old friends have joined us here on the panel. So let me introduce these folks real quick for you. Let me start. Our new friend, Ryan Esparza, Weather Channel. You started using Volicon about 6 months ago. Yep. It's fully in production. He has had no problems at all. That could be, but thanks. Thanks for joining us. Actually, Jim Bennett is an old friend from probably 2005. Bought one of the first analog systems from Volicon. Off-air recording, satellite returns is what I'm recalling.
Yep.
But now has moved to our new Share product, which we introduced last year. Share is, again, taking compliant technology, elegant clipping, elegant pushing to any destination that you need at that time. So, Jim Bennett. Well, Brian Corner. Brian, we met Brian in 2006. Brian had this bright idea of, let me take content from the Volicon, push it to web, and at that time he was saying, I needed content in minutes, news in minutes, and that was cutting edge at that time. And you're going to hear a little bit about the new challenges he has in the news business. And right here, Yal Swartzman, VP Products, Volicon. He was probably the key developers or drivers for the Share product that we're using today. So, given that, I think you're going to find a wide variety of interesting applications here. We've got weather. Nothing changes faster than the weather. We've got the Hallmark Channel doing a lot of VOD, TV everywhere, and news everywhere. So this is a nice mix of folks. Let's, who should we pick on first? I think I'm not really sure. I think, yeah, Brian, you raised his hand. So
I might as well.
You might as well. Let's go with, tell me what's unique about Fox News in terms of your business, and then also the workflow that enables that business. Let's go there.
Well, I mean, I think Fox News is not necessarily unique to news. Anybody who's working on news content has the same issue, and that is that content needs to get out onto the web as fast as possible. We're all trying to beat each other. If anybody from CNN or MSNBC or anybody else was here, they'd say the same thing. We want our clip up on our site faster than Fox News has it. So, you know, like you said, back in 2006, I think it was a little earlier actually, 2005, we had an analog system at first too.
Okay.
We saw this compliance logger and we thought, wow, we could take that and we could use that. And we were still using tapes. We had 3 decks and we had one that was rolling and then the other one was, you know, we pop that tape out and pop it into this deck and do a capture and take that tape out and blah, blah, blah. We were still doing all that. So we thought, heck, we can take this compliance logger thing and we can make clips, push them out to the web much faster that way. And you know, the rest has been history with Volicon. We've been pushing you guys to do new things all the time, I think.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
That's right.
How did you find out about the compliance logger? Did that?
I believe our friend Marilyn, or not Marilyn, Paula down in Master Control was using it for compliance. And
Okay.
We had to get a clip that we missed on tape someday. And she said, oh, why don't you try to get it from here?
Got
And
it.
that was, you know, the rest is history.
Got it. Cool. All right, very good. Jim, tell us what you do. Tell us what's unique about Hallmark. What's cool?
Well, we're like a lot of content providers. I play out 2 linear channels. Currently, I also offer some what we would call TVE, and I got to differentiate that from the VOD that some people confuse. We currently aren't doing over the top, which would be truly over the top, where we would be doing are played directly to consumers. We're, like everyone, including Fox, we're all considering this. Not quite sure what to jump in yet, but we started like he did with Volicon as a compliance product. We were looking first at just captioning because, to be quite frank, my audience is older. If the captions don't work, we hear about it. We used to hear about it with phone calls. Now, if our captions aren't up, all you got to do is look at the Twitter feeds, and we know in minutes. So we use social media also now for emergency notification. I mean, it sounds silly, but it's true. The public watches this stuff. You know right away if there's a problem. But we moved with Volicon like he did to where, we can make clips. Because first we had our ad sales people making clips to send to an agency or a specific advertiser, particularly in some cases with DR, because as we all know, not DR as in disaster recovery, but as in direct response, that they claim frequently that the 800 number was wrong or not put up or something else. Now we could just take a clip and deliver it to them. We also run other shows. We do a 2-hour live to tape, and of course it's not live to tape anymore. It's live to a server. We capture it, and that has a lot of product placement in it. So all the time, that thing is exercised. That thing being our TS system, which we moved to now. Everything is transport stream. As a matter of fact, I'm pulling them off my corporate network as a multicast, so I don't even have ASI cables running around anymore. I put the actual appliances with my IT guys back in their server room. So it's just part of the network. So all the users, they see it as just another app on their computer. We're moving into share. It's exciting. I've got 2 guys up with the product right now in beta. I just got an email from them. They clipped some stuff today during a show because I bring a show in live. And then from that live stream, I do 2 things with it. First of all, I got people who can watch it for S&P, for standards and practices. No bad words. I am the Hallmark channel, so we got to make sure. And then we air it the next morning at 10. So we used to have to take it and make little clips, promos, and send them out. Now our plan is we're going to make this live during the show, put it up. My next push for them, and you've already talked about it too, we'd like to burn some logos, maybe some lower thirds into this stuff. How do we go about doing that on the Volicon platform? I also pull stuff off at full bandwidth. So if I have a problem with C3 VOD creation, I've got it. I store all of my streams for 7 days. Those are stored at I capture the entire transport stream. So you could even look at it if you wanted to, and we've thought about it as actually a disaster recovery mechanism because I am capturing the entire stream. So that's too much.
No, that's great. Thank you. That's great detail. Appreciate that, Jim. That's great. Ryan, what's up?
Yeah. So the Weather Channel is obviously a household name. Everybody knows it. Everybody probably has our app. One of the questions get a lot, especially here based on the news lately, is weather company, weather channel, what are you, where does IBM fit into this mix, right? And I won't go into all the details of that here. You can see me afterwards if you really want to know the details. But as it pertains to this conversation, right, we are the weather company and IBM business. And the interesting thing to note is we didn't take kind of the normal path that a traditional broadcaster would, where I've got my TV channel and I clip content from that TV channel, be it live, be it long form, and then put it out on these digital channels, right? We had a very, very successful digital property, a bunch of digital properties that were really successful on their own from a data perspective. And then we said, okay, now from a video storytelling content side, how do we deliver the best experience for that audience? Not necessarily just taking what's on TV and adapting it to that. As such, kind of started from the ground up. We have our own kind of digital first broadcast studio that's putting things together specifically for those platforms. We launched The Lift, America's first mobile morning show. It's a tongue twister, so I got to get it right. But it's specific content for that audience that's on mobile that's consuming differently than TV. So in terms of kind of how we're different, how the Weather Company, the Weather Channel brand, all that fits as it relates to this conversation. Obviously, Volicon, for us, the unique advantage we had is kind of in this evolution. We looked at our traditional broadcast infrastructure, and did it make sense to use kind of some of these big, heavy on-prem legacy things with, I've got my big MAM, I can roll a record, I can wait for my proxy to build, and then I can clip, and then wait for my transcode to then distribute to all these digital platforms. That's what we used to do. It took 45 minutes, as our content team would tell you, it's very, very frustrating. So some of the things and unique things we got to do and are doing with Share is kind of relook at how do we build digital first from the ground up, and Share kind of gives us that speed to market, cutting those 45 minutes down to literally minutes or seconds to get the video out to our platforms.
That's great. I didn't mean this to be a commercial for Volicon, but we really appreciate everything you said. This is great. Let me get you into the mix, y'all. So you build product for these guys. What's that like? How many times do you talk to Brian a day?
Oh, good. Not a day, but on a weekly basis.
Pretty much like once a day.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, it started by sitting with Brian and listening to what the customer Brian says, right? Just defining the problem. What's the problem? Problem seems like speed and ease of use. It seems like people and everybody here wants the ability to let more and more and more and more people within the organization the ability to create clips. And those people are not video editors. They are young, sometimes untrained. They'll come and go, but they still need to do the job. And how do you do it? So,
excellent.
Yeah. So I mean, you're asking me how we do it.
Yeah. Let's go with where does it hurt today? I mean, where are the weeds? Where are the problems that you're?
Well, I mean, a lot of the
problems
problems is a very rickety, path to get out to where it needs to get to. So we're clipping this thing, and then we're putting it on this clip and putting it on somebody's desktop, and then taking the captions and putting that on somebody's desktop, and an image and putting that on somebody's desktop, and then we were collecting those things and running them through a transcoder and putting them in a CMS and uploading them to a storage account, and all of it was a very manual process. And with a lot of things that could go wrong, and a lot of little watch folders that could have not responded, or this thing could have gone. So when you guys came about 2 years ago and said, hey, we want to productize what you're doing, what I said is, well, then just give me a checkbox that says send this thing to Brightcove, send this thing to Facebook, send this thing to Twitter, Kaltura, yeah. And that's basically what you did give me. I set my in point, I set my out point, and give it a title, I give it a description. I can add some tags around it. I can pick my image, and I say, go here, and go here. And it goes. And then I don't have to think about it again. And it's all as API-driven as we can make it be. And it's very invisible, and there's not a lot of places where people can make it go wrong.
Right. So in the chain, though, what usually breaks? Is it us? Is it
you mean
content
like
management?
recently? What usually breaks?
Is it the CDN?
Do you want me to tell you, Russell?
No.
These nice people.
Thanks.
Right now, what usually breaks, I think right now, our biggest problem right now is encoding. We're taking some steps to figure out how to make that better. Our encoding, we have slowdowns, and we have problems where sometimes the encoding just like, why is it not responding? Or it's not doing something like that. But to be perfectly honest, the movement of the package, right, the media ball, out to where we need it to go, not a problem.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool. Jim, where does it hurt? Where are the problems, challenges for you?
Our biggest challenge right now is trying to understand what the workflow. We need an approval workflow before somebody posts something to Twitter, to YouTube, particularly if it's a longer clip. I mean, if they're just little short, brief things to say to Twitter, to drive a little bit of audience to it, that's okay. But what's that workflow? What are the approval tools? And right now, the way the system is set up, like he said, is what we all wanted at first. Check the box, send it. It's done. I got to put a step in there to say, I need somebody to come over and look at this clip and say, yeah, it's cool to send, because as one of you pointed out, the people running this are not highly trained. They're entry-level people.
See, I can see where you're coming from for the most part, but because of the speed that we have to post stuff to news, we enable and train a lot of people to be that their only approval. So if you put it up, you're now responsible for it. You approved it yourself. But yeah, I can see where you're,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
coming from.
My environment is different than yours,
Yes.
and my employees are different than yours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't have a newsroom. Thank
Got it.
God.
Yeah.
So Brian is a team that walks together, right? 6, 7 people walking together.
Yes.
It's really a
Yeah.
nice environment.
I think you guys have touched on 2 points that are the challenge we all face, right? Speed, we can talk, ad nauseum about speed. The second bigger challenge, I think, from just an industry's perspective that we all have to solve, right, is everything you're talking about is where does it break in the chain and in the workflow? That right there is a problem, period,
In itself.
for a lot of what we're talking about, right? I could pull out my phone out of my pocket right now, and in 10 seconds be live streaming on 3 different platforms to everyone, right? And that's what every consumer is coming up with, that expectation that I can pull something out in a consumer-grade device and get video out right now. And that's what people are getting used to, right? So it's only going to perpetuate the problem. It's only going to get worse. And so when we have, a CMS breakdown and all these different things, and granted, we have workflows for certain needs, but when we're talking about not only beating other news organizations to coverage, in our case, getting life-saving information out, right? If it takes me 10 minutes to get something down, that tornado could have touched down, totally done all its destruction and disappeared, right? And I just missed that opportunity to save lives or get people safe. So I think as an industry, we have to look at not all workflows are created equal. How do I take what consumers are getting used to, what the kids are getting used to, what everybody is getting used to, and deliver that in more of a broadcast environment where I get the quality at the same time, and then look at my other workflows for maybe some more long-form content or evergreen content for some of the higher produced value.
Excellent.
You've
Thank
got to
you.
use that as a tagline.
What's that?
Volicon saves lives.
This is getting too good. Is it true that you think in the future your audience expect a linear experience on a mobile device? Is that really where it's going? That level of reliability, that level of quality? Will we get there?
I've always said that the consumers, your parents, your children, everybody wants the internet to work like the refrigerator. If you open it up, the light comes on and it's cold, right? And you don't have to think about is the refrigerator working? If I hit this button, if I open it up, is it going to be cold? Yeah, pretty much, it's going to be cold. So if I hit this button, am I going to get the video? Yeah, pretty much, I'm going to get the video, and that's what everybody wants. And that's the goal I think that the entire industry is moving towards. That's what we all want.
Got it?
It's all instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The younger generations, if it doesn't work, I'm gone, I'm on to the next thing. I'm flooded with content options and opportunities, so if I get a buffer and something's slow or it doesn't work or it's glitchy, I'm gone. So they're absolutely looking for that quality level of service, no matter where they are.
And it's not just the younger generation. If we look at ourselves, if you open your laptop today and you're not connected to the internet, what do? You close it.
Exactly.
That's coming. And all of us have learned that, and none of us are I don't know even know what the new generation is called anymore.
Not even millennials anymore. It's
No,
something
no.
else. They haven't named them yet.
Yeah. But also, I think you asked about watching on the
Talk
small
end to
screen.
end a minute.
The mobile device, which is a lot of things, computers to phones to ultimately watches. I think it depends on the event. If I want to see my sports game, I don't care what I'm watching it on. I want to see it. If I want to see Fox News, I want to see Megan, what's her name, fighting with
Megan Kelly, thank you very much.
Kelly, I'm sorry. I'm going to watch it on my little screen or whatever screen I have handy. But if I'm going to watch like one of my movies, which some of you do watch, I know men watch this because I see the demos, and because this is mostly a male group in here, you all know at the end you're going to cry. That's what we drive, and it's working. So far, it's working. Now, are you going to watch that on your phone? Maybe if you're laying in bed by yourself at night. Yeah.
Not
By
on the plane.
way, no, not on a plane. Not on a
It's
plane.
headed the wrong way. But go ahead.
So it depends, I think, on the device. But absolutely, all of this stuff has to be made available on devices, and for them, available immediately. For me, I get to touch it and hold it longer.
What do you see? Mr. Products?
I think that
Where are we
what
headed?
we hear from customers is, I want something simple. I have my content, and that's what I do. I'm a broadcaster, I'm a content creator, and I need to take it somehow quickly to the destinations. It can be the social media, it can be website, and it can be OTT. Our mother company now is involved with OTT, and they want customer wants something simple that works, high quality, works all the time, and it's very difficult for customers. That's what we hear, to deal with so many vendors. Someone to go to the video editors, go to the mom, pull content, somehow deliver it. Somehow, so many people and so many vendors to deal with. They want one solution, and with Volicon today, integrated with all CMSs, and now with VDMS, with Verizon, that's what we plan on. That's what we plan on doing.
Make it easier. You want to check the box. You want the content to be delivered. There's an ad. People watch it and they stay with it.
Yeah, I once did a high school career day, and I told the kids, that's what I do. I get video and I put it up on the web, and they said, well, that's not hard. You take the camera and you plug it up to the computer and you put it on YouTube. It's not hard. And I had to try to say, saying that, well, no, it's more complicated than that. But I couldn't explain why it was more complicated than that. But it is more complicated than that. This is making it simpler, plugging it in and just sending it off to where it needs to go.
Very good. Let's see. We're heading toward the tail end of our time. Let's see if we can get a couple of questions for the panelists, if we can. Does anybody
Please don't leave us hanging.
have a question or two that we would
Make up a
like to
question.
answer, or make up an answer to? Thank you, Brian. We can then ad-lib to, if you do. If you don't, somebody come up with a good question. Thank you. So let me try to capture that question.
Yeah.
Gary said, with all this content, how do you get an audience, I think?
Or
What's
how
the
do you
opportunity?
capitalize on
Capitalize
social
on-
media video? Yeah, just use social media content.
Okay.
I'll let you guys go first. How are you going to capitalize on social media?
Well, right now I mine it for the analytics.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I mean, you can't forget that. That's a very important thing. We used to do that for promos with all our Nielsen ratings, everything else. Wow, now I can get on a Twitter feed and see what's happening. Is it good? Is it no good? Is the sound bad? Is it good? Because we all know that's a problem in our industry, even though your device measures calm absolutely wonderfully, and we can save it. And I've sent those files to the FCC when I've had complaints. I'm sure you've done the same. That clears that up. But yeah, as far as social media and other things, we're using it mainly as an analytic tool and a promotion tool. And I know some of our competitors, they actually have YouTube channels they put stuff up on and then see what hits they get on Twitter. I'm not saying we've done that, but it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, people are creating good content, specifically weather. I mean, no matter where you are, if you're taking video, weather's involved. Even if you're inside, you got air conditioning. But now, if you're outside, weather's involved. So there's a lot of good content out there in the form of UGC. We looked at UGC a lot, right? There's this kind of point of diminishing returns when you look at how much effort am I putting in to have to filter through everything that's posted on social versus what is the value I'm getting out of it. So I think that's a constant struggle that as more and more content comes up, we've got to figure out better ways to solve that. And there are probably lots of booths around here that you can go talk for people offering solutions. But I think kind of the opportunity for us in terms of not necessarily social, but kind of with the technology and the way it's going, and a lot of it from social with more content, is it makes it much easier to get content in globally, right? So I can now have a set of global stringers that don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars invested in equipment just to get that video back to us quickly, right? With some kind of low level, prosumer grade type stuff, I can have a network of global stringers that are giving me content through the channels that, where they already are. So.
See, I think with Fox News, we use social media a little bit differently. We don't have a UGC play, really. But as a person who's been working to monetize video on the web for so long, I'm not a huge fan of social media video because you can't really monetize it. So it's a promotional play. So we have to measure what we put out on social media in the same way that we would measure any commercial that we would play on a competitive station or on a sister station or something like that. And then we have to kind of limit that in terms of trying to get those people to come back and watch the stuff that we actually monetize.
Which is part of the requirement that I think that we have from you to being able to control who can export what type of content and limit the duration so that there is some centralized control on how much content can be shared through social outlets.
Then politics gets involved, and
Yep.
we don't turn that on.
Yep.
Because somebody gets mad. But
Yeah.
Good. Well, unfortunately, I think we're reaching the end of our time. I just want to thank you guys. You rock stars. These are the guys that make it happen. They innovate every day with
Thank
new
you.
tools. Thanks. This was great. Great session. Thank you.
thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great.